Hey everyone, and welcome to the second episode of Servant Wanted. I first want to thank everyone for the positive comments and thoughts from the previous one, and I'm gonna try my best to keep up doing this series, because honestly, I really enjoy doing this, reading up history and things like that. And today on Servant Wanted is an historical legend that I actually been thinking of for quite a while, but was also suggested by some of you out there, and that servant is Genghis Khan, that I think definitely would fit to join Fate. While he's famous as Genghis Khan, was he born as Temujin Borijin? I'm terribly sorry if I butchered that name, I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce it, but yes, that was the name he was born with and before he became known as Genghis Khan. He would take on to create the largest empire on land in history of mankind by uniting many of the nomadic tribes of Northeast Asia. And under his rule would a large part of Asia, East Europe, and seriously, it's an enormous empire, all connected by land, making it the largest one. And if you say the British Empire is bigger, yes, it is bigger. However, they did sail and they did get colonies pretty much all over the earth, so while their empire was technically much larger in that sense, was Genghis Khan Empire the largest one that was simply on one landmass. While known for his very brutal campaign and considered by many to be a genocidal ruler, did he also break against many Mongol traditions of that time? As when defeating a rival tribe, did he not kill or drive them away? Instead, he actually took them into his own army, bringing some of them into his very own family, thus causing great loyalty among the conquered people, making his army even stronger for each victory he got. Though no man or woman lives forever, and Genghis Khan of course died as well. However, under his entire lifetime did his empire never stop to grow. Unlike Alfred Nobel in the first episode, there is a few classes I could imagine Genghis Khan could be. Those are Rider, Archer, Saber, and Ruler. Of these would Ruler and Rider feels most likely, at least for me, followed with Archer being very close by and Saber as the last one of these four. After all, being the one of the greatest rulers that united the nomadic tribes, would a class as a ruler really fit. And being a people that raised and lived with the horses, Rider of course definitely comes to mind, and not to mention that bows and archery was a very common weapon, and of course even Genghis Khan did use that for himself. Though it also seemed to be that he also used swords, so Saber would fit as well, though in my opinion Ruler definitely would fit, especially since we need more rulers and Avengers in general, Fate Grand Order. In Fate franchise in general, as in anime and all of that, well, Ruler or at least Rider would definitely fit very well. In fact, they could actually make it like Genghis Khan a ruler and Temujin Borijin as a rider or archer, considering that we have like Alexander the Great, aka Iskandar, showing him as an adult as well as a younger form, and then 500 different sabers, so I thought this would actually be quite an interesting thing. When it comes to Genghis Khan's abilities, depending on of course if he's gonna be a ruler or a rider and all of that, the abilities kind of do change quite a bit. But I feel generally that Genghis Khan would be rather strong across the border, considering his legend, how fucking big he became in the world and is still today. Though I feel that as many rulers and many strong legends in general, that his MP would probably be his strongest thing. Then again, for most servants that is the case, that their MP is like their really big bomb. As for abilities, would it depend very much on what class he is of course, and especially for Fate Grand Order, though I feel that buffs that improve his team's attack and things like that definitely would be very fitting in general, considering his leadership and him being a very strong ruler. So I would generally see him with quite a bit of team buffs in that sense. Maybe not the strongest frontliner in warfare, but rather very good leader and buffing and supporting and giving more a boost to his allies and all of that. And then we come to the very interesting thing of noble phantasm. Now this was actually a bit tricky to come up with these abilities and things and all of that, But I decided on two things that I thought could fit quite well. The first one is Universal Ruler. It's a rank B anti-person kind of special buff. His name Genghis Khan actually means Universal Ruler, and it's fitting for the man that would rule the largest empire, which it was actually as large as the African continent, showing us how big his damn empire actually was. This noble phantom is a self-buff that increased Genghis Khan's strength across the border, boosting his ability to fight even further. And now I could see this as not a normal kind of super buff that makes him super strong and all of that, but it would give him a decent boost. I would actually like to see it as an ruler kind of thing, that it do grant buffs to everyone near him in a small area, and of course those that do follow him, and enemies would instead get a debuff for fighting against him because this very, very strong aura, this very, very strong leader that is facing them and all of that. Now this isn't like Alfred Nobel, a very overwhelmingly strong buffs or anything like that. It would be pretty much minor and all of that, but really I feel would fit with his role as an universal ruler in that sense, as a very strong, well, I would maybe not the strongest buff, but it would be definitely a very versatile one. The second NP is The Secret History of Mongol, which is an A+ anti-army kind of noble phantasm. It was written shortly after Genghis Khan's death, holding the story of his conquest and the stories of Mongols in general. And I thought it would be quite fitting that it's like an unleashing about his conquest and all of that. And they have done quite a bit of research about this, how it came to be that this conquest started and how it became so effective. And it was actually because the years before he started with his great conquest was there a very, very lot of rain, making it grow lots of grass, being able to giving them more horses, and by that greater power. And with this in mind, I would like this MP to be a massive area effect MP that started with an outburst of energy from Genghis Khan. It started to rain, and that was the sign of the Mongol army's growth that would lead to Genghis Khan's great conquest. And I could imagine this MP with two different attacks in it. The first one is by commanding the rain, will all the rain turn into arrows, just like the Mongolian horde with their thousand after thousand of archers raining down their arrows against the enemies. Will the sky turn just into a mass of arrows? One arrow might not be so strong, just throw in a couple of thousand of them and you will have yourself a nice porcupine. And the other part of this, as I could see as a final attack, is the trembling rise of a horde of horses. Just like the horses that led his armies and made him the greatest conqueror of all times, would these horses charge right into the enemies that have been weakened by arrows and be crushed by this trembling horde. And that would be pretty much it. So it's a great AoE attack. I didn't want to make it too much similar, for example, Iskander and all that with a big army. That was my actually initial thought. But I thought this would fit quite well because it would fit with the concept of his history and the secret of the Mongol and all of that. So that is my thoughts of his NP. Of course, this is nothing that is set in stone. This is my thoughts, what I personally would like to see. There's definitely others that have come up with other ideas that is probably much better than all of that. But still, I want to get my ideas out for Genghis Khan as a possible ruler / rider for Fate Grand Order or for Fate in general. And I will be back with more of this, and we're gonna see what next servant will be. And I'm gonna try to keep up with this because honestly it's really fun and I would like to work out more with these kind of things. So thank you for watching. Remember to comment, share, subscribe, and like for more. It means so much to me. See you later on. Have a continued super great day.